Hey everybody, it's Paul with CDA Software. We're going to go ahead and get started on our second video on commissions. And so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to learn how commissions is calculated and how it's utilized within a claim as it's associated with the primary tech or another tech that had worked on the claim. So what that means is we have our claim number and we have a tech. Now, as your technicians make trips to an address, generally speaking, you'll have one tech that always makes the run to do the repair, which is fine. That makes commissions really easy. But your technician may be sick, may be on vacation, so you may have to assign it to another technician, and that's not a problem. So we'll show you both scenarios where it's just one primary tech, or perhaps you have multiple primary techs. Now for our demo only, just know that we're always going to be with a tech called Stay David or Paul P. Those are going to be our two techs that we test with. Our primary tech for this particular demo is going to be Stay David. So that's the first thing we want to establish. And then in order to get to commissions, we're going to go to the Totals tab and we're going to click on Totals. And this is where we find this big ol' commissions button. So I want to show you that. But before we get started, just in case you did not watch the settings video, I want to show you two settings and two assumptions that you do know about so that all this makes sense as we continue on. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to come up here to the Utilities menu in Utilities, and I'm going to go to System Settings, and I want to show you something. So in System Settings, you either calculate commission when a job is completed, when a job is paid, or you can manually do calculated commissions. Again, if you go to our settings video, we talk about this in depth and we show you examples. So just know when we look at our claim, it is going to be completed for our particular exercise today. It won't be when it's paid. So keep that in mind. So that's the first thing I want you to know about the system settings. Now the next thing we want to make sure you know is the employee setup for the technician. So we have a tech, they're going to have their own settings that are particular to commission setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to Utilities, we're going to go to Employees, and we're going to say Add Edit Employee Table. So we're just going to click on that. So here we are, we're in our employee setup just like our settings video showed. And what you just need to know about is that the primary tech or any tech who's on a claim, if in their profile, and again this is at the tech level, it says calculate commissions, when we either add a labor, a part, a diagnostic, or another charge, because we said calculate commissions, it's automatically going to calculate and insert, hey, this tech is able to have a commission for what happens to this claim. So this button needs to be checked for each technician. And then what you can do, you independently click labor, part, diag, or other charges. However your company pays you, that is how it's going to look. So then we say, okay, this tech has an opportunity to make money on labor, parts, diag, and other charges, and he gets a flat rate of 20%. So in the rest of our video, both techs all are set for 20% commission on all four areas that they are able to make a commission on. So now let's go ahead and look back at our claim. Okay, so here we are. We're at our claim again. We're on the Totals tab. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the Billing tab because I want you to see something. So you'll notice this claim is already marked as completed. So now when we click on this big commission button, it's going to work as designed. If I did not have it clicked as completed or paid, then this commission button will not work by auto calculating what is owed to the tech. That means you will manually have to input what commission is. So again, I'm going to go back to billing, and for the rest of our demo, we're always going to say, hey, the claim is in a completed state. So now let's go back to Totals, and then Commissions. I'm going to click on it, and it has information filled out. So we can see it's working because we have completed checked. But first I want to show you something to see how we get here. So here we are, we're in parts. So as parts are added, whatever your primary tech is, if that tech is allowed to get commission off parts, we will auto select that tech. So let's go ahead and say add a part and see how it auto selects the tech for applied commission. So let's go ahead and do that. So here we are. I said add a part, but I'm not going to do anything. I just want you to see we auto selected apply commission for this tech because in this tech's profile, he's allowed to make commission on parts. So that's how that will always be auto selected. Your team never has to remember what to do. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and abort this. And now what I want to show you are these two parts that were already added to the claim. So let's double click those. And you'll see that this part was added. It has money. So this tech will get 20% of this because everything is set up correctly. Primary tech and that tech's profile can get a commission. I'm going to say abort. And then I'm going to click on the second part. Again, when we added this part, it auto-selected apply commission for this tech because that tech was selected at as the primary tech during the time that the parts were applied. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click abort. So that is how parts are done. So now let's take a look at how labor is done. So I'm going to click on totals. Here we are where it says itemize labor charges. Now one thing I did here because I wanted you to see it for our demo is labor was already added for the tech that went out the second time. So this tech is going to get 20% of this labor. If I was to add new labor and we have a different primary tech, notice how I say add. It auto-selected David Stay to get commission on this labor job. So that's how that works. I'm not going to fill it in, but I just want you to see you can have different techs even for itemized labor, for parts, and many more. So I'm just going to go ahead and abort. And now what we're going to look at is that in that employee profile, there was an area for a diagnostic and for other charges. So let's see how a diag is done. So if I come down here where other charges are, you see it's already filled out. I'm going to double click it. And again, I've already went over this. You just go to the drop down menu, you select this. That is the diagnostic that's selected from the employee profile. That's how you get that setting. That 20% will come from this amount. Again, it auto-selected the tech with commission. So I'm going to abort. And now this is where other charges come in. So other charges, under the totals tab, itemized other charges is where you get the diagnostic and where you get other charges. So I'm going to double click. We have other charges, anything other than diagnostics. And then it is going to select the tech, or you can change the tech on your own if you want to. So I'm just going to go ahead and say abort. So what we just learned is that in the employee setup, you can calculate commission in 4 different areas, and those areas are going to be parts, it's going to be labor, it's going to be a diagnostic, and or it's going to be other charges. And that is all done through this. So the next thing I want to show you is how do we utilize this big old commissions button. So let's go ahead now and take a look at that. Alrighty, so here we are. We clicked on that big commissions button and it brought this up. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about all the different fields. So this is the claim number we're in. This is going to be the first name. This is going to be the last name for our customer. And over here, notice it says date completed. That's the date when we were in the tab where we marked date complete or if we said date paid. So we'll capture that, but we don't have a date paid yet. So that's why this is blank. Then I'm going to come right down here where it says auto refresh. If I click on auto refresh, because this job has been marked completed, any changes that may have been made while we're in the claim, if you click that, they will auto populate in here. So that's what the refresh auto commissions is for. And then we also have a manual entry, which we'll do in a moment. But first off, we just want to talk about the 2 different entries. So here we are. We have this claim number has 2 different payouts, one for this tech and one for that tech. And then we see this tech just gets 20%, of the labor. They didn't do anything else. But this tech that did most of the work, he's going to get a payout on parts, no labor. Remember that diag, so it's very specific. So that diag was right down there. That's how you get that diag cost. That's how it comes into that column. And then other charges is going to be everything that's other from within here that is not a diag. And then we have here, which will be a checkbox for manual add, and then any hours if you wanted to add that. So now if I do a right click, or if I do a double click, it will say, hey, you can add a comment, and you can even say total hours. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to say my comment, and then we're going to say this was a 2-hour job, because that's what we would like to track at our company. Then what we can do is we can right click, we can double click on this one, and we're going to say my other comment, and we're going to say, because we like to track time, this was 3.25, so we're going to say okay. And now what I want to do is I want to add a manual commission in here for any various amounts of reasons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say manually add, and it's going to pick up the primary tech, or I can change it. I can give it to this tech if I want to. We're going to keep it simple and say we're still going to give it to this primary tech. Has all the pertinent information for this claim, and then we're going to say the date of the commission. We're going to say today, tomorrow, any date, but we're just going to keep it simple. Say today. We like the track time, so we're going to say it's for 1 hour. And then when we're going to say, do we want to give them parts commission, labor commission, diag commission, or other? For us, we're going to give this tech an extra $50 because this tech went above and beyond and did some heroic efforts to go get a part. So we told the tech we'd give him an extra $50 for the inconvenience of having to drive all around town. So that is how you manually enter in a commission. Again, you can put $1 in here if you wanted to. You could put $10 in here. We'll just go ahead and do that. And you can say a diag, we give him $5. So he's going to get a whopping $66 extra, which is pretty good money, when he gets paid out. So we're going to go ahead and say add. And so here you go. We have 3 entries for the same claim number. And now you'll notice, because this was a manual entry, it gets a checkbox next to it. Now I'd like to show you something since we have this little checkbox here. I'm going to right click on here. I'm going to say delete. Are you sure you want to delete it? Sure, why not? Wait, you can't do that because it's not a manual add. You can only delete entries in here from the manual add. Now let's go ahead, say delete. Are you sure? I'm going to say no because I want to show you an export, then we'll come back and say yes. So that is how you can delete. If you needed to modify a commission and any of these numbers needed to be modified, what you would do is you would get out of here. You would then change the price or change whatever you needed to according to, we have a part change, we have a labor change, we have a diag. So you would have to go find that entry for that tech and then make the adjustments accordingly. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and run that export. So we're going to export all this information to a CSV. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button right here, export to CSV. So here we are, our file exported to a CSV. And now you can see we have all the same information that was in the claim that was in this area. We can now see in our CSV, turn it into a pivot table, do whatever we want with it. So I'm just going to go ahead and minimize that. Now what I'm going to do is I just want to get back to showing you a delete. So again, we can't delete anything that's not a manual add. Let's go ahead, say delete. Are you sure you want to delete? Yes, I want to delete. And there you go. It just deleted that manual add. And so that's how that works. So that will conclude today's video.